meeting. Welcome, Karen. It's good to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
Hello, Teresa.
Hello.
Welcome all. Thank you. We're just waiting on a few more presenters to join us.
Okay. You've done an amazing job of coordinating all of this and very thorough. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you.
So much. Thank you so much. Thank you for your involvement as well.
It's our pleasure.
Okay, so it looks like we are still waiting on Hugo Bueno. Let's see. We'll give it just a few more minutes and then I'll go ahead and get started just going over a few details before we let everyone
No
into the
problem.
event. Thank you.
Teresa, congratulations on your recognition with NAR.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That was one of my proudest moments. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
That's a big deal. Very, very big deal. That was fantastic.
Thank you very much.
In fact, I'm currently about 2 hours from Miami. I am in an extended part of Texas at the moment. I am currently at the President's Circle Conference at Marco Island.
You and I are both there.
Oh, that's great. We should have met in the same room.
That's right. Maybe we can connect tonight at the reception.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We should have all been in one room because we're all here.
That's right. That's true.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello, Jessica.
Hello.
Hi, Brianna. Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Karen. Hi, Louise. So good to see you.
Okay, let's see. Ileana or Lori, are you able to get a hold of Hugo and ask if he's able to attend just like 5 minutes before the meeting, if he's able to sign on so we can go over some details?
Yes, let's try it. I can try and get a hold
Thank
of
you
him.
so much.
Good morning, Brianna. Good morning. Good afternoon, Brianna. How are you?
I'm good.
Hey, Jessica, everybody, Larry. I have something to mention. I just got a phone call from Hugo that he's going to do a presentation, but unfortunately he has an incident. A very close family has passed away, and he has to go. So he won't be available to participate, but he mentioned that Brianna, you have his presentation. Maybe you can actually play the video. It's self-explanatory, but also I just talked to Akram and maybe Rafael, maybe they can extend a little bit the presentation if you find it okay. So maybe he can have, instead of 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, so he can expand, so we can cover that. So it's entirely up to you, but he just hung up and he said, unfortunately, I'm so sorry. It's a very close relative friend of him, and he has to go and support the person.
Yes, of course. Well, thank you. So let's go ahead and just plan for Akram and Rafaela. You can bump up your time from 10 minutes to around 15 minutes for your portions underneath the real estate market section. So let's go ahead and plan for that. And then Marvin, just with your introductions, just go ahead and make a note that Hugo won't be joining us today. And so it looks like the only person we're missing right now is Joao, but let me see if he is in the waiting room. Okay, so he is not, but no worries. Let's go ahead and just keep moving along because I know we do have Luis, and you're going to be sort of accompanying Joao during that introduction as well. So thank you all so much for jumping on this call just a few minutes early so I could talk through a few details before we let everyone into the trade mission. So I'm going to just jump right into my notes so that way we can go ahead and get this event started. So I hope everyone has a copy of the agenda with them, but if not, I'm just going to go quickly from the beginning to end, especially since we do have a change in this agenda. So once we go ahead and let everyone in, I will go ahead and briefly introduce myself and immediately hand it over to Marvin Jolly, our chairman of the board, to go ahead and get the event started with his introductions. Marvin will then hand it over to Karen Johnson, and she will give a brief introduction of Joao and Luis and hand it over to Kofesi. And I know that Joao has a presentation and I will be sharing my screen for that and let him go ahead and do his notes. And then Luis, go ahead and please feel free to follow up with any notes you have as well during that part of the introduction. And Luis, if you can then go ahead and hand it off to Teresa Kinney, the CEO of Miami Association of Realtors, because she will then go ahead and introduce Socovi. And Rafaela, once she introduces you, I have your presentation on hand, so I will go ahead and share that so that way we can get those slides of the association presentation, and you can go ahead and give your introduction of the around 6 minutes of the association. And then I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen and we'll transition into Akram. And Akram, you'll go ahead and share your screen and share your presentation, and note that you can now take a few more minutes extra. And then we'll go ahead and move right along back to Rafaela, and I'll share my screen again, Rafaela, jumping where we left off in your presentation. And then we will then transition into your next part of investment opportunities. But before we go ahead and jump into that next section, I'm going to share my screen, just launch a quick poll to get some audience interaction. And then we'll go ahead and move right along after that poll is completed to your section of the investment opportunities, Rafaela. So your presentation will stay on my screen, but I just wanted you to know that we'll be sharing a poll between those two sections. And then once Rafaela goes ahead and finishes her investment opportunities topic, we'll move right along to Akram. And Akram, you can share your screen once again and go into the residential transaction process part of your presentation. And then we'll go ahead and do one more poll and launch that. And then we'll go right along into the NAR presentations section. And we'll go ahead and bring Ileana, Lori, and Betsy to the screen. And you guys can go ahead and share your information. And we'll then finish out with breakout rooms. So just flying through that, but thank you all for jumping on so that way I could run through that. And then just also making you all aware, we'll be sharing my screen with your presentations. I'll be sharing Joao's, Rafaela's presentations with Akram. Go ahead and share your own screen as we talked about earlier. And I think that is everything. So does anyone have any quick questions?
I do, Brianna. I noticed that you have the breakout rooms and we were asked which ones we wanted to be in, and I guess you're breaking them out according to language. Is there the ability to move from room to room if somebody wanted to do that? I was thinking of me specifically, if I could move from to another room to just sort of chat, because I could do any of the languages. So do we have that ability for myself or others?
I'm unsure if you have the ability, but please feel free to direct message me and I can make that note as well. If anyone would like to switch rooms during their portion, I have that ability to change your room.
Okay, thank you.
I think everyone in the first section is made a co-host except for, we probably have just Teresa Kinney in the intro section.
Brianna, do you see Joao by any chance? Supposedly he is in. That's what Lucia is telling me.
Okay, let me see. I do not see him.
Okay. She's getting him then.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No worries. We're right at 2, so I'll go ahead and just wait for 1 more minute if Joao is able to enter the room. But if not, no worries. I'm just going to go ahead and then get the event started. But we'll go ahead and wait just around 1 more minute. Okay, let's see. Betsy, I don't see him in the waiting room.
Okay, give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Check and see if he's in under some other name.
Betsy, would he be under another name?
No, he will not. Lucia went to get him. So
Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to get a hold of her as well.
Thank you, Betsy.
No problem.
Okay, I see him. I'm admitting him now. Thank you, Betsy. Hello, Joao. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, Joao. I'm going to go over just a quick detail before I let everyone else into the room. Joao, can you hear me?
Brianna. Oh, I was just going to say his audio was still connecting.
Okay.
He should hear you now.
Okay.
Hello,
Thank you,
Joao.
Jessica. Hi, Joao. So I'm just going to go over a quick detail and then we're going to go ahead and let everyone into the room. So Joao, once it is your time to present in the introduction, Karen Johnson will be handing it off to you. And then Joao, I have your presentation ready to share. So just so you know, I will go ahead and be sharing your presentation. And that's the only detail I basically wanted to let you know. And we'll be pinning Luis as well with you. So that way you both can share your information during your introduction. And then just one last detail for the people that I am presenting or I am sharing my screen with your presentation, just give me a verbal cue when you would like the next slide and I'll go ahead and do that for you. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. Once everyone floods in, I'll introduce myself briefly and then immediately hand it over to Marvin. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Brianna. Let's start. I'm going to present you some slides with Brianna, and I'm going to do the introduction. Okay?
Okay.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Yes, Joao, thank you so
Okay, 3
much.
minutes.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the event. We're just letting people in. And thank you for joining us.
Okay, let's go. Hello, friends. My name is João Teodoro. If you prefer, you can call me John, no problem. I am president of Confess Credit System in Brazil, the second largest organization of real estate agents in the world. The first is in NAR, of course. Our main office is located in Brasilia, federal capital of Brazil, but we have regional councils offices in 25 of the 27 Brazilian states. We
Joel,
have four, see,
Joel,
yes,
excuse
wait.
me, I'm sorry. We're going to go ahead and just wait for a few more people to join. And then we're going to go ahead and have Marvin kick us off with the event. And then Karen Johnson will hand it over briefly to you in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Thank you so
No problem.
much.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, welcome everyone. I am Brianna Meir with Texas Realtors, Global Commercial and Diversity Specialist. Thank you so much for joining. And I'm going to be handing it over to our Texas Realtors 2021 Chairman of the Board, Marvin Jolly, to kick us off. Thank you, Marvin.
Thank you, Brianna. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Travel with Texas, a virtual trade mission with Brazil. I'm Marvin Jolly, Texas Realtors 2021 Chairman of the Board, and I'm joined today by some very wonderful guests. Joel Teodoro da Silva, President of COFESI. Luis Barcelos, Federal Counselor of COFESI and 2021 NAR Board of Directors. Hugo Bueno, who could not be with us today, we also want to express our appreciation to, who is also with CRESI and NAR. Akram Rajab with CRESI and NAR. Rafaela Zamperi, member of the Group of New Entrepreneurs of Socovi. Karen Johnson, 2021 President of Broward, Palm Beaches, and St. Lucie Realtors. Teresa King, CEO of Miami Association of Realtors. Betsy Sachs, National Association of Realtors Manager for Global Business Alliances and Engagement. Ileana Bogart, NAR Global Coordinator for South America. And Luri Zabetti, NAR Global Ambassador for Brazil, Colombia, and Chile. Thank you to each and every one of you and to your associations for your contributions and your involvement in the past months of planning. I want to give a special thanks to the NAR team and our partnering ambassador associations. This trade mission would not have been possible without your help and partnership. I would also like to give a big warm welcome to COFESI and Socovi members. We're honored to have you joining us here today.
Oh, come on, it's freezing.
We ask that you refer to your welcome packets that were sent out to learn more about the wonderful speakers you'll be hearing from today. Make sure you stick around until the end, where there will be an opportunity to meet and connect in breakout rooms. We also ask that you keep yourself on mute for the duration of the event. If you have any questions for our speakers, please feel free to use the chat feature at the bottom of your screen. Texas Realtors is honored to host this global trade mission with Brazil. So without further ado, I'll hand it to Karen Johnson with Broward, Palm Beaches, and St. Lucie Realtors to introduce COFESI. Karen?
Thank you. Thank you, Texas Realtors, Marvin Jolly, Tiffany Wu, Brianna Meir, for hosting this fantastic webinar and inviting us to participate in this wonderful being an ambassador to Brazil. Good afternoon and boa tarde to our friends in Brazil. My name is Karen Johnson, President of Broward, Palm Beaches, and St. Lucie Realtors, coming to you usually from Southeast Florida, but today we're in Southwest Florida at President Circle. So many of you guys are here as well, so make sure and say hi. We are so grateful and fortunate to have held the ambassadorship for COFESI for the ongoing 20 years. And so many members have created wonderful relationships with leaders of COFESI. It is sad to think it's 2019 since we were able to hug. But San Francisco was 2 years ago, but we're looking forward to seeing you guys very soon and in person, and looking forward to many more occasions. Through the years, between our visits to the US and your beautiful country of Brazil, none of our connections and relationships would have been possible without few key leaders. True visionaries at COFESI. On behalf of my fellow leaders at Broward, Palm Beaches, and St. Lucie Realtors, we wish to thank and commend the entire leadership. President Joel Teodoro, Mr. Luis Barcelos, Ms. Lucia Wanderley, Mr. Chico Purcell, and our very own member, Ida Turbo. COFESI is an impressive organization that's doing wonderful things, strengthening real estate markets and our profession, and to promote real estate brands internationally. We are proud to be your ambassador, partners, and friends. Thank you for your kindness and professionalism, and thank you for the long-standing and rewarding partnership that we so much enjoy. Stay safe, be well, and we look forward to when our paths cross again and we can give big hugs. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our good friend and outstanding leader, President Joel Teodoro of COEFC. Thank you.
Joel, you're on mute.
Okay. Thank you, Karen. It's a pleasure to talk to you about Brazil. I'm going to start again my presentation. I am João Teodoro, President of COEFC System in Brazil, the second largest organization of real estate agents in the world. The first is NAR, of course. Our main office is located in Brasília, federal capital of Brazil, but we have regional councils offices in 25 of 27 Brazilian states. We have 420,000 individuals and 5,000 legal companies associated. Now, I would like to give you some basic information about the slides that will be on the screen, okay? Thank you. We know that Brazil didn't go passive unpunished by the pandemic. So we still have a lot to overcome until the things get back to normal around here. However, our real estate market reacted very well and we has grown much more than we expected. Several economic factors contributed to this. Our basic interest rate, called here as Selic, has never been too low. For your information, in 2014, Selic was at 14.5%. At end of 2020, it was at 2% and remained so until February 2021. Today is at 4.5%. This situation made the real estate reacted positive. So the low interest discouraged financial investment in favor of real estate market in Brazil. The legal security of the leasing law, the housing deficit, the confidence in real estate assets, everything at this moment collaborates for the investment in real estate in my country. So abundant long-term real estate financing with low interest complete the attractive advantage of investing in real estate in Brazil. Finally, it's important to say that we have a territory with 8.5 million square kilometers. We have 7.5 kilometers of beaches. We have a population with 212 million people. We have diversified tropical climate. We have a welcome and diversified population. We have a huge tourist potential. And the most important, we don't have natural disasters such as earthquakes, storms, volcanoes, hurricanes, etc. And we are the second largest agribusiness producer in the world. So I think if we can control the pandemic until the end of 2021, our real estate market won't have any problem. Well, this current data about our country and our economy is on the screen of your disposition. Thank you for the attention. Okay.
Thank you so much, Joao. And Luis, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Marcelo.
Mute. Okay. Well, I would say that in Brazil, we need to have a license to be a real estate agent. And then to act in the market, anyone needs a license. And this license is issued by COFECE Cresi system. And it's been created, our system, COFECE, has been created by federal law in 1962. And so we will be having a 60th anniversary next year of our rules of real estate market in Brazil. And so it's a profession ruled by federal law. So we have no difference between real estate agent and broker like in the United States. So anyone who has his license, he may be a broker in Brazil. And there's no difference between real estate agent and broker like in the United States. We are more than 400,000 agents, all COFECE members in Brazil, and we also have more than 70,000 companies, real estate companies, also COFECE members. Our market, as João Teodoro already has told you, had a decrease in the beginning of the pandemic, but with correct acting of our economic politics of the government, we growed at the end of 2020, 15% related to the same period of time in 2019. So in 2021, this trend has showed us that we will have a good year in the real estate market. And I think this I could say to complementary to what our president has already told, and regional trends, and you will have the information with our friends that will follow here. Okay, thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for coming to Brazil and for this virtual visit. You are, all of you, very welcome.
Thank you so much, Luis. And starting with the CEO of Miami Association of Realtors, Teresa Kinney.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here today and to welcome all of you and to introduce Miami Realtors' first ever international partner, Sokovy SP. We signed our landmark agreement with Sokovy at a major real estate show and media event in Sao Paulo in 1993. So we're excited. This is our 25th anniversary of working closely together with Sokovy SP. We've hosted many delegations and trade missions and attended each other's conferences in Sao Paulo and Miami and at events around the world. And it has just been the most amazing partnership. Great amount of business and expertise has been shared to the benefit of our collective members and our markets throughout all of these years, as well as developing lasting friendships. They are absolutely amazing partners, and we hope you get to know them and their market. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Rafaela Zampieri Wolf, who has advanced degrees in real estate law and over 10 years experience in real estate and real estate law. She is the owner and director of 2 companies, coordinator of several innovative projects, and a member of the group of new entrepreneurs with Sokovy SP. Please welcome Rafaela.
Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here with all of you. I'd like to thank NAR and Secovi for this opportunity, and it would be a pleasure to start talking a little bit about Secovi. Brianna, if you can please share my presentation. So first, I would like to talk a little bit about Secovi. Can you put the next, please? Secovi, this year, Secovi is completing 75 years. Secovi is known as being the biggest organization for the real estate industry and represents over 9,000 companies in São Paulo. We have active members in most of the government committees, and we have reliable marketing analysis and databases from the real estate market. So if you are looking for invest in São Paulo, we'll be more than pleased to give all the data from the real estate market at Secovi. And the next, please. So I'd like to present as well the group of new entrepreneurs that I'm part of. The objective of the group was to bring young professionals to work in the real estate market and think about the future of Secovi and the sector, as well as to develop innovative activities. So we work in six main activities that I'd like to show in the next slide. So one of our initiatives is the innovation working groups. This initiative is divided in three main sectors. So here we are bringing startups to share their technological solutions for the constructions companies. The companies that their core business are construction can come into these innovation groups and benefit with informations of, for example, building information modeling or urban development, IoT, artificial intelligence, and smart cities. For the commercial companies, such as mine, and real estate agency, I participate in the group of augmented reality and big data. So we're getting to know all the new trends to use it in our companies, as well as for the developers can be in contact with post-construction management. And the next slide, please. And this connection with startups started in 2017 in a project that was coordinated. And in this project, we did a competition for the startups that were in the real estate market to showcase their technologies. And it was really important because a lot of big real estate companies had to innovate at that time. Startups started to be great competitors, but they didn't have the experience of the market. And so in this project, we were able to connect them, and it was a win-win event project. So the next, please. And this project is now has become an innovation hub. So at Secovi, now we have an online platform where we disclose their startups, their innovations, and all the trends. And the Secovi's members can benefit of all of it. Next. For our members, we also have live sessions broadcasted at Secovi's Instagram. Please follow Secov NE, our Instagram. There we have these virtual coffees where the startups present their smart solutions. And we also have meetups where we can generate business and promote networking. Next. Another very important events that we participate is the international missions. So I was able to participate with the group to a mission and to the Silicon Valley. We visit the tech companies and also the NARs there. It was an amazing day to being with our colleagues. And also we visit Florianopolis, that is known as the Brazilian Silicon Valley. New York next year, and unfortunately last year, and this we couldn't do our missions because of COVID-19. Next. And finally, I would also would like to invite the Ampliar, that is our social organization. Ampliar has over 30 years of existence, and the objective is to promote professional courses for young people with social vulnerability, and the numbers we have are amazing. We offer 25 different courses and programs, and we'll have a lot of attendant and graduated students, and all the graduated students also receive certificates. Thank you. So this is the presentation from Secovi. After, in the end, I'll be open for questions, and we can discuss more about Secovi.
Thank you so much, Rafaela. And jumping right in, that was a wonderful introduction. Thank you for all of your introductions. And jumping right into the Brazil real estate market, we're going to start with Akram Rajab. Go ahead and start whenever you're ready, Akram.
Hi, guys. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, first of all. I would like to say thank you to all of the panelists, Mr. João Teodoro, and everybody who's joining us this incredible afternoon in this incredible trade mission. Well, I would like to share my screen and start the presentation about the Brazilian real estate market. Of course, João already mentioned a lot about Brazil. I'll go a little bit into Brazil and more about Santa Catarina state. So why Brazil? First of all, I used to be a member of Realtor. I'm still a member of Realtor. I used to be a real estate agent in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, for Kai's company of realtors. And then it was in 2004. I took my CIPS 2005, moved back to Brazil 2006, where I opened my own real estate company. And today I'm the regional owner for RE/MAX in the state of Santa Catarina. Well, talking about Brazil, Brazil has some great opportunities. First, I just have to move this from the screen, well, just a little bit, because it's covering my screen. Just 1 second, please. There we go. So Brazil is a buyer's market today. You know, and Brazil has gone from a third world country to a major player, but still it's an underdeveloped market. Still has much more properties available than buyers, and the Brazilian currency has dropped to a really record low, which makes it 1 point alone for investment. Foreign ownership is deeply encouraged, and by the way, foreigners have the same rights as Brazilian nationals. So it makes it for secure investment, and of course, the natural beauty of Brazil is also another reason by its own to invest in the country. There's something on the screen here. I don't know if it's okay, but you guys can see it, right? So this is the picture of Brazil. When somebody talk about the picture of Rio, sorry, when somebody talks about Brazil, first thing in mind is Rio de Janeiro, right? But Brazil is much more than Rio, although this picture is gorgeous, and I love this image. And I'm sure most of you remember back in 2009, this magazine, this British magazine, The Economist, Brazil was really taking off. The economy was booming. In fact, since 2006, when I got back in the country, we did not have the crisis right then when you guys had in the US, 2008, 2009. Our crisis really hit us 2014, 13 and 14 and so on. And then The same magazine also made another cover saying that has Brazil blown it, and this was actually in 2013. Well, fortunately today we have different news. We went back to just I would like to ask somebody to just remove this enquete, from the screen, because I cannot see the whole presentation. If somebody could remove this. I don't know. It says, what is Brazil population size? I don't know if everybody's seeing this, but it's right in the middle of the screen. So the Brazilian economy today is growing for the last 3 or 4 quarters, and it has grown 1.2% in the last quarter itself. Also, Reuters is forecasting it to grow at least 4% per year, or maybe even more. Some agencies are saying at least 5% per year, or even more. And there's a very steady and strong foundation for this growth, as we will see here. Brianna, can you remove this thing? For me, there's something right in the middle.
Sorry, Akram,
Oh,
do you need help with something?
I got
Okay.
it. Okay. I don't know if somebody. Let me go again. One second. Sorry, there you go. So Brazil is the 9th largest economy in the world, and it has grown. You see, we were last 17%. I mean, we shrank 17% from 2010 to 2021. So that shows exactly the big opportunity we have right now, and it's forecasting to grow at least 47% by 2025. So there's a huge wave coming, and those who are ready to surf benefit a lot. In fact, it is the right time to buy, or has never been a better time than right now. If we compare not only the regular prices in Brazil, but also the real, right? So there's the short of housing. There's 214 million people almost, and only 1.5 million households available. The devaluation of real is really another big reason behind what's making Brazil so interesting right now as far as investment opportunities. As you can see, in 2014, a square meter in Brazil would cost the equivalent of $3,000 medium, and 2020 it was 45% less, right? And also we have the currency, which has dropped tremendously. So we can see in this graph here that the prices from 2011 to 2020 went down almost 30%, 25%. This is price in reais. And also, when we looked at the 2011, the real was worth $0.65, and today it's worth 19 cents of a dollar. So I mean, that's huge gap here, huge opportunity to make a lot of money only on the currency itself, plus the valuation of the market. Well, not only we'll be talking about Brazil, but I will talk about Santa Catarina state, which is the second southernmost state of Brazil. It has only 1% of Brazilian territory, 3% of the population, and it has the 6th biggest
Akram, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself? Thank you.
Okay, got it.
You were just on mute. Perfect, thank you.
Weird. Okay. Go back. Everybody knows Florianopolis. Florianopolis is the capital of the state of Santa Catarina. It's known as the Brazilian Hawaii. So it's really beautiful. It has over 50 different beaches, very young people, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy once you come and visit it. Well, from Dallas to Sao Paulo, it's about a 10-hour flight. Then you have another hour flight from Sao Paulo to Florianopolis. These are all major airports where you could fly. But from Dallas or from Houston, there's only direct flights to Sao Paulo or to Curitiba. Usually it will be, the whole leg will be 14, 15 hours, the whole trip. Well, the Santa Catarina is one of the states with the best economic and social indicators, as well as far as economic, social, and development, and also for health and for security as well. Most of the people are from European, so you see most 83% white people, and then they have the very German type of people. We have around 7.5 million people today. The population is the 20th state in area. The smallest is in area, is 11th in population, is the 9th in density, is the 6th in GDP, gross domestic product, the 4th in GDP per capita, the 3rd in the country for Human Development Index, and also the life expectancy of Brazil is very similar to the US. These are the 10 best countries for life expectancy. Goes from 84 years old in Japan, 79 in the US. The Santa Catarina is is leading in Brazil, 78.7. So you see very similar to the US. And also is a young state, very young state. 60% of the population are less than 4 years old, and 30% of them are not yet in their 20s. And only 10% are older than 60 years old. So it's a very young and qualified labor force. When we talk about the Human Development Index, we're really high compared to the other states. We're the 3rd in this list, which is a very high Human Development Index. Also, geography helps a lot because Santa Catarina is in a very strategic position in Mercosul, South American Common Market, as you can see. It's very near Paraguay, Rio Grande do Sul, Argentina, Bolivia. So the logistic is really helping a lot the state for its growth. Also, the culture, like I mentioned before, the European culture. Almost 50% of the immigrants came from Germany and Austria. Most of the rest came from the other Italy, Poland, Russia, and so on, Portugal a lot. So today, over 30% of the state's population are fully or partly German ancestry, and 40% are Italian descendants. And according to the last survey, 79% of the people have European blood, and 11 African, 8.9 indigenous. So it's a hard worker and skilled labor force. Another good point is the lack of metropolis that we find in Santa Catarina is very interesting. The largest city is Joinville, a little over 600,000 people today, and Florianopolis, which is the state capital, is around 500,000 people today. So there is not this huge metropolis like the other states. When we talk about the economy, we have 7.3 million inhabitants. It's the 10th most populous out of the 26 states, plus this federal district. It's the 9th in population density, the 8th largest exporter state of Brazil, the 7th smallest territory of Brazil, the 6th largest GDP, 5th largest industrial park, 4th in GDP per capita, 3rd highest Human Development Index, and the 1st place in life expectancy among all states of Brazil. And of course, it's considered one of the best tourist locations as far as safety, infrastructure, and entertainment. The economy also grew over 340% over the last 3 decades. It's the most prosperous axis of development in Brazil, one of the most qualified logistic networks among Brazilian states. It's high quality technical workforce. It stands for 4%, a little bit more than 4% on the share of the Brazilian economy. It's the 6th largest commerce revenues in the country, the 5th largest food producer, the 4th largest in number of processing companies, 5th largest in number of employees, and the lowest unemployment rate in the country, 6% compared to over almost double in the national, in the whole country. There's some other stuff we can see here. It's like the top leading state in apple production, the top producer in pork meat, 2nd best place for investment, 2nd best place for management challenge index. And one of the best things here, in my opinion, is the lowest homicide rate in the country. Brazil is known worldwide for, of course, samba, carnival and stuff, but also for for the security is always a major concern. But here we don't feel that. It's really as safe as I felt in the US or any other major place. The growth of Brazil is a little bit over 1%, 1.2%, compared to 4% growth of Santa Catarina in 2021. And if we compare with last year's or the previous 12 months, it grew 2.9% despite of the COVID crisis, the health crisis. So there's really, you can see I wrote 6 reasons to invest and I put number 7. Of course, we have leverage because we have low interest rates and high yields of return. Really at least 15% capital appreciation. Sometimes we just experience 20, 25, even more. There's a double potential profit, like we said, not only for the price of the real estate, but also for the currency. There's a pent-up demand because since 2013 and 14, people wanted to buy, but we experienced different crises. First, we were hit by the global economic crisis, 2013-14. Then we had the Brazilian political crisis, 2016-17. Then, of course, this health crisis last year. So a lot of people were willing to buy, but they were holding back for the best opportunity. And now it seems this opportunity arrived. Also, this created a huge demand for second homes, especially in the Northeast and here in the state of Santa Catarina. Like I mentioned, one of the best tourist destinations in the country. And of course, the demand for the more quality homes. We had here one development with over 45 units sold really quick, and units over $1 million, $1 million units, which was taking a lot for selling. And last year, since June of last year, they were all sold out. And quality of life, which is the 7th, and it's a reason of itself why one should invest in Brazil. Well, when we talk about quality of life, this is the picture of Bombinhas, worldwide known place for scuba diving near Porto Belo. We also have the European Valley, and with its Alps, and you can feel the snow. You can really feel like you're in Europe when you're there. There's the city of Balneário Camboriú, well known. It's known as the Brazilian Dubai. You can see a picture of 2021 with its skyscrapers of over 80 floors, the ones that are already built. And this is what it will look like in 2030. Most of them are under construction or under project. So, and of course, we have some over today. The highest one is Yacht House. This twin towers is 82 floors and over 280 meters, which would be over 1,000 feet. But there's others plans to be higher than 120, 130 floors. Also, international architecture, like this one from Triptyque, a famous French architecture company, making a very unique and modern design. It's becoming worldwide known for celebrities are looking to buy properties here, like Sharon Stone. She was actually the cover for this construction company, FG. She bought a unit of her own. Also, guys like Neymar and Luan Santana, Brazilian singer, have also bought their apartment at this Yacht House, the Twin Towers. Neymar bought a 40 million reais penthouse. It's a fourplex, over 800 square meters, which would be, I guess, over 8,000 square feet. So it's huge, almost $8 million. And this is what it looks like, and it's almost done. Actually, by last month, this guy, Luigi Cani, just flew in his wingsuit through in the middle of both towers. It was really insane. And this building was designed by Pininfarina, the same design of Ferrari. Also, Tonino Lamborghini is already under construction, and some others which are already built, like the One Tower, the Infinity Coast, some other ones under project, and these are all under project. So you'll see that's why it's called the Dubai of Brazil. Well, this is all for now, and I hope I was able to present really well.
Yes, Akram, thank you so much. That is such a beautiful, beautiful area, and I cannot wait till we can all travel there in person. So moving right along to introduce the area of Sao Paulo, we're going to bring in Rafaela to go ahead and do that. Thank you.
So it's a pleasure to talk and present today some data about Brazil and Brazil as an option for investments. Can you next, please? So the first numbers I bring here is the residential units launched in the 5 biggest cities in Brazil. So last year, due to the pandemic, we're not able to launch many developments as we did in 2019. But we could sold about 190,000 units and launched 150,000 units. And this number of units sold, we can see that we had an increase of 27% in the 4 first months of 2021 if compared with the last year. Next, please. And talking a little bit about the São Paulo real estate market. So São Paulo is the biggest city in Brazil. We launched 60,000 units last year and in a city of 20 million inhabitants. So we still have a long way to go. And the 4 first months of these years were incredible. We had an increase of 95% of units launched if compared for the 4 first months of last year. Next. And here, this graphic represents the standard of the units that are being launched in São Paulo. And you can observe that in the 5 last years, the demand for low-income property has risen impressively in the city of São Paulo. Another interesting point to mention is that with the pandemic, people are looking for bigger apartments where they can have a space for working by distance, for example. And even though these apartments are more expensive, the demand for buying these standard properties was still rising. Next. We can see in this graphic that last year we launched 60,000 units, and we can see that the number of low-income properties is still has raised. Now it becomes bigger than the number of properties of median and high standard. We still have a high deficit in the number of properties for low income. So we were having amazing performance in this sector. Next. And this graphic shows the participation of low-income properties in the city of São Paulo. We can see that last year, it represented 50% of the sales and launches. And in this year, in the 4 first months of the year, we can see that the low-income properties has increased and now represents almost 7% of the launch and 6% of our sales. Next. So last year, we sold about 51,000 of the units launched. It was the best year in sales in São Paulo, and the reason that happened is because of the low rates for financing that in the real estate buildings. The sale is very well in Brazil and especially in São Paulo. And this year we already saw an increase of 50% of units sold if compared with the 4 first months of last year. Next. This graphic represents what you just saw about the launches. And compared to previous years, we can see that the economy and the markets of the last years and especially this year are performing very well. Next. In this graphic, we can see the comparison between the number of residential units launched and sold in São Paulo. And here we can see how the market was affected last year, especially in March. That was when the pandemic started in Brazil, and the amazing recovery we had. This year, especially because of the great rates of financials, as I previously mentioned before. And so you can see that our sales are fortunately recovering. Next, please. So here are the numbers of offers of residential units in São Paulo. And we can see that last year, the number is much above the average because the market is good and we have a great demand. Next. And finally, here I bring a comparison of the prices of the square meters that you can buy with $1 million. As you can see, Monaco is the most expensive city in the world. New York coming fourth position with only 34 square meters that you could buy with 1 million. While in São Paulo, you can buy 252 square meters. And it would be here is the cheapest square meters compared with the biggest cities in the world. So we still have many good opportunities in São Paulo. I'd like to thank, and then I'll come a little bit later to talk about the investments opportunities.
Thank you so much, Rafaela. And before we jump into the investment opportunities, I'm going to share a poll so that way we can get some audience interaction. So here we go. What is Brazil's population size? Okay, we're going to share the results. So it's, yes, correct. It's 212 million. So go ahead, Rafaela, and share with us about the investment opportunities in Brazil and go ahead and give us that answer. Oh, Rafaela, you're on mute.
Oh, that's right. The population of Brazil is 202 million. We had a GPD of 1.10 trillion and a surface of 85 million kilometers. So we are the fifth biggest country in the world. Next. So we are a country of democracy. We have stable institutions. We have independent and respected judiciary. Our climate is amazing. We have no risk of hurricanes or tsunamis. And all foreign capital is very welcome. We have a strong currency and we have independence in the energy supply. So about 60% of our energy consumers are supplied by hydroelectrics and the other 4% by oil, natural gas, and biodiesel. We produce sugarcane, are famous for that. We're also the biggest global producers of agriculture and mineral commodities. For example, we're the first in the world in the production of coffee, soybean, and others. Next, please. So these are our GDP. We're the 9th economy in the world. Used to be the 6th or 7th country in the world, but due to the devaluation of the currency because of pandemic, now we're in the 9th position. Next. Our inflation rate is about 4% a year. And you have economic stress in 2015 and 2016. But after that, we had a great recovery, and now we have a stable inflation. Next. Our prime interest rate is usually very similar to the inflation rate. We had an increase due to the pandemic. Brazil has suffered a lot and is now facing the second wave of the pandemic. But even though it had an increase in the rate now, and it's very good, especially if compared to the 5 years ago. Next. We used to have stable exchange rate. One US dollar was equivalent to 3 to 4 Brazilian reais. But now, since last year, due to the pandemic crisis, our currency has devaluated, and now it's about 5 reais to buy a single American dollar. And that's another very interesting opportunity for the Americans to invest in Brazil, since the US dollar has a strong position compared to the Brazilian currency. Next. So before the pandemic, we had an average of foreign investments of $75 billion a year. Last year, we had almost half of that because of the concern about Brazil's situation and due to the pandemic. Next. Before the pandemic, the number of new jobs per year was starting to increase again after a bad economic crisis that we passed in 2015 and 16. And it all indicated that our economy was starting to recover. Even though last year we suffered a lot because of the pandemic, we were still able to create jobs. We had a positive number of 143,000 jobs. And a very interesting point, in Brazil, the civil construction is responsible for 14% of the number of new jobs. Next. We can see that all sectors, consumers, trade, constructions, and industry suffered last year, but we have a very good recovery. And at the end of last year, as you can see in the graphics. But after that, we had like the second wave, the epidemic, so we had a decrease, but then an increase again. Next. And we have a housing deficit of 8% of the total households in Brazil, which represents almost 6 million houses we need to build to extinguish our deficit. Next. And beside our deficit, we have an average of 1 million new marriages per year, which represents the number of new houses we would have to build to accommodate the increase in the population every year. Therefore, we are trying to reach this number, but we're still not there. We have been able to build about 1.2 million houses a year. Next. Now, I would like to highlight this graphic and this part of the pandemic, because last year we had 124 billion reais, which is about $25 billion from banks and institutions for mortgage and financing. And the reason we had these increases is because now we have less expensive financing interest rates in the history of Brazil, due to the fact that our inflation now is very stable. It's very interesting time for Brazilians to buy real estate market and also for foreign investments. Next. So financing from acquisition of property has risen by 60% in 2020, while financing for construction has risen 50% the same year. In 2021, we can also observe an exponential increase of 126 for acquisition financing, and 100 for construction financing. This means that people and companies are taking more and more loans and investing more and more in real estate. Next. Therefore, we can see that in Brazil, the real estate financing passing through phases of ups and downs. And now the amount of financing is very high and increasing every year since 2017. People are taking more mortgage because the interest rates are the best in the history of Brazil economy, as I previous talk said. Next, please. Here you can see the same comparison between acquisition and construction, and the increase is just as impressive. Here the numbers are in units. Next. And I also would like to tell you that the default rate in mortgage in Brazil has been relatively stable since 2009. The main reason for that is because banks before 2009 were not able to foreclose the debtor's real estate in case of default. But after 2009, that situation changed, and that clearly reflecting the general default rate. In other words, the real estate market is more secure for banks and other financial institutions in Brazil as well. And we can see that it's a very stable rate right now. Next. We're expecting an increase of the financing from banks and institutions for this year to reach a peak of 157 billion reais, which is about $31 billion. So we expect a great scenario for real estate in Brazil, and invite you all to show these opportunities to all your clients. And whatever you need in Brazil, you can contact Secovi. I'll be at your disposal as well. And as well here in France, I'm living here, but my real estate agency in Brazil, technology now make it possible to be here and connect with my team, as well as I'm talking to all. So thank you very much for all the attention. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Rafaela. That was such valuable information, so thank you for sharing. We're going to move right along with Akram. He's going to share his screen and talk about the residential transaction process.
Great, thank you. You all can hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great, thank you. Well, so let's talk a little bit about due diligence. This is strongly advisable to conduct a very strong due diligence before buying any land in Brazil. Our system varies from the one in the US. We don't have a title agency. We do have a very strong and reliable real estate system, but we do have to be careful and evaluate before buying. First, always you need to check for property records and to make sure you have the proper deed and that you're getting an authentic and up-to-date version of this deed. The purchase and sale agreement is similar of the US, although it has to be drafted in Portuguese and into Brazilian reais in local currency. You can of course translate so you can understand, but to be valid and legal, it has to be in Portuguese. Usually the down payments are between 5 and 20% of the total amount. We strongly advise to make it as low as possible. Therefore, you have more power to, to deal during the negotiation. One big concern usually is how to send money to Brazil. There's usually 3 different ways or main approaches for doing that. First, send money directly to the seller. We don't like it. We almost never advise our clients to do so. The other way is you send to the power of attorney to a lawyer or an agent, or what we strongly advise is that you can open your bank account on your company's behalf, or maybe you can have a power of attorney to your lawyer or agent to open a company of your own. Then you can send the money into the company to buy the real estate from your company. This way, you're buying Brazilian land with foreign capital, but as a Brazilian entity. And this is for capital, for taxes reasons, and there's a lot of benefits of doing so. When using banks, just make sure you're not using the regular banks. And sometimes the seller will ask to use their banks, but usually this takes a very longer process, because they're not specialized in currency exchange. Instead, you should use a specialized company for doing so, and we'll shorten the whole process and make it much more easier. Before you open a bank account, or before you open, even you can transfer money or buy any property, you should get a CPF number, which is a tax ID, and it's for every person has to have it. It's just similar to the tax ID in the US, and you have to do so in the Brazilian. If you're a Brazilian citizen, or even if you're a foreigner, you can get it from the consulate, or if you're in Brazil, you can go to some places and get it really easy. It's not very hard. But of course, if you're a foreigner, to get the CPF, it will take a little bit of a process, but it's not a big deal. To get a certificate of property and of clearance, like I was telling you before, it's really advisable you hire some professional agents or some attorneys, and sometimes you will spend maybe $1,000 or less to get the whole thing done, and you should be really safe and secure to go. This is one thing we strongly advise, because some labor disputes on the seller, or some taxes that were not paid, anything that could come into the property later on. So you make sure you don't want to get into this. For closing, it's usually similar to the US. Once you have signed the contract, sometimes you will have some deadlines and penalties. So make sure you have a checklist, and your agent knows exactly what to do. And then you should always coordinate some time along for the whole transaction, at least 30 to 60 days, 45 days. It depends on the situation, on the certificates and everything. If you need to have the documents translated by a sworn translator, just be aware that it's not the same thing as what you guys consider a certified translation, because it has to be registered with the State Commerce of Wards. To get a power of attorney as a Brazilian living abroad, you could go to the consulate. It's really easy. If you're a foreign citizen, there are some specific steps in your home country where you could follow those steps. Again, it's easy, although it has some more steps to do. Paying registration and taxes. Every buyer pays around 5% taxes when buying. Usually it goes from 4 to 5, depending on the city and on the state. But usually this is an amount paid by the buyer, and the seller will pay commission. 5 and 6% commission usually is paid by the sellers, and also the sellers will pay the capital gain, if any. And be aware that it's only an owner those who register the deed. You don't, if you just have a purchase and sale contract, or even if you have a deed, but if you have not registered with the registration office, with the title agency, let's say, you're not the owner. Somebody else could claim it. So you have to be really sure you're getting the proper documents registered in the registration office, and the deed, the escritura, must be registered. Well, this is all. I know it's a lot of information for a small presentation, but if you have more questions, I'll be glad to help.
Thank you so much, Akram. Thank you for all of that wonderful information. Okay, so I'm going to try to launch this next poll so that way we can get the next section going with the NAR speakers coming up to present. So how many languages are there on NAR's Find a Realtor search? A little bit of NAR trivia. Okay, we have the answers rolling in. I'll leave it up for a few more seconds. Okay, so we have quite a variety of answers. The correct answer is 60. So there are lots of languages on that search field for NAR's Find a Realtor. So to share a little bit more about NAR's resources, we're going to bring up Betsy Sachs, Ileana Bogart, and Lori Zabetti.
Hi, Ileana, could you give me an opportunity to add an important note?
Absolutely, go ahead. I was gonna say that a lot of good information you share, right?
Okay, okay. It's good to say that, well, you Texans are very close to Mexico, and you know the restrictions that a foreign buyer has buying in Mexico. I would like to tell you that in Brazil, we have no restrictions, even in the coastline for urban areas. Only a few restrictions for foreign buyers in rural areas. But if they come as companies and they have some Brazilian partner, there's no restriction. So this is an important note, I think. And also, Akram told you about the taxes. I would say taxes for foreigners are exactly the same as for Brazilians. We have no difference of taxes for foreign buyers. Okay, these are two important notes I would add, and we have RN36 program. Yeah.
I was gonna say that. Can you talk a little bit about this? You read my mind.
Would you like me to let you say that?
Can you please go ahead?
Okay. Well, it's a visa program for real estate investment, and so we have the possibility one foreign investor in real estate investing 1 million reais would be around $180,000. He may have the permanent residential visa in Brazil for him and his family. And if this investment is made in the northern and northeast regions, this is only $140,000 of investments. So this is a great opportunity to invest in Brazil. And as Akram told and about our exchange rate, we have a great opportunity because for foreign buyers who come with dollar as currency, they can convert to our currency in Brazil with great advantage. Well, that's it. Sorry for interrupt, and go ahead.
No, it was great. You read my mind. I was thinking such a great country, such a great presentation, such a great opportunities. I said, this is something that we're missing to talk about it. And I was going to bring you to talk, for you to talk, and I'll mention this because yes, like you saw, Brazil, and that's why we work together. This is an amazing country. It has everything that you would like to, from different scenarios, temperature, climates, ambience, food, music. So it is a great, lifestyle is incredible. And I mean, I have a passion for Brazil, but when you put everything together, and that is the importance of this presentation, and I'm seeing on the chat and conversation, we are doing the purpose of this webinar. And the purpose of these alliances, the purpose of NAR alliances with all these countries that we have a partnership, and I'm gonna let, we're gonna do kind of like a discussion, the four of us here, that we have a opportunity. Don't go, Luis, if you wanna go, stay there. That's why we have this partnership. And that's why we are so passionate, Global and Alliances team. And we all have assigned on our region. I have the global coordinator for South America. I collaborate with Betsy Sachs, as she's in Chicago. We have a global ambassador, Larry, has in charge of Brazil, Colombia, and Chile. We have our partners locally in Brazil, as you saw. COFESI is a regular, the real estate profession is regulated. It is COFESI, the company, the body, the regulator body that actually makes sure everybody has licensing and follows the law, the same as we do here. And then we have ASECOBI, which is another initiative about, grow entrepreneurship and business related in real estate. So we work with an ambassador associations. You met Teresa Kinkini, the CEO of the Miami Realtors, and Karen Johnson for the Broward, Palm Beach, and St. Lucie real estate. So all what we do is bring you all this information so you can connect and start your referral network, your business to business. If you're in Brazil and you are not part of this global family right now through NAR, to the Realtor family, we're inviting you to come, contact COFESI, contact SECOBI, and because as you saw and you're seeing right now on the chat, we have Brazilians all over in this particular case, Texas, that want to join and want to connect with you. So why Brazil? Betsy, our alliances with Brazil, and then I'm gonna let Betsy and Larry, and then we'll go a little bit, go back with Luis and saying why Brazil and how we put all this together for you. Betsy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, colegas. Good afternoon, colleagues. I would like to show you a little bit of what we have at NAR for you members, to find our members and to be able to do business with them. I am going to share my screen with you guys. Can you guys see my screen?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, lovely. You can see my screen now. Okay, lovely. So here we have the first and most important one is the NAR en Español that we have with the National Association of Realtors. We have an excellent website here that's all in Spanish. It can also be translated to numerous languages down here at the bottom. NAR en Español, we have translated lots and lots of materials that were in English for our Spanish-speaking members and for members that speak any other language. This is all here in NAR en Español. The other one that I would like to show you as well fast is the Facebook page, NAR en Español. Everyone can be a member to this page as long as you're in Facebook. It's an excellent Facebook page to, we have webinars here, we have resources here, so please stop by and enjoy this page. The other resource that I would like to show you is where to find our members. If you go into memberships, and you go into directories and you click on find a member, you will be able to find members all over the world. Keep in mind that if you don't insert a last name, a city, you will get the first 100 members. If you put a last name or if you put a city, then you will be able to find that member faster. You can also do it by certifications. A CIPS is over here as well, an ePro. Everything that you need to find a realtor, it's all here. Our global page. If you go to more on our page on the NAR.realtor page, if you click on more, sorry. Right, apologies here. If you click on more and you go to global, this will be our global page. Here as well, you can find a CIPS designee. This is where you can find, you can go to global alliances and find a country here. You can find the information that we have on our countries, on our cooperating associations. You just click by country. Here's Brazil, click and go. And you will have everything about COFECE, SECOVI, SILA, all the information is here on this webpage. Luri, do you wanna, or should I give it to Ileana? Luri, do you want to talk about referrals?
Actually, Leanne asked me to just talk about what we do as the Global Alliance.
That sounds perfect.
You want me to go ahead, Ileana?
Please.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my name is Elizabeth, and I'm the 2021 Global Ambassador for Brazil, Chile, and Colombia. In years past, global ambassadors have been asked to create relationships with affiliate associations in our assigned countries, which generally meant that we would be traveling with a group of realtors interested in exploring those global real estate opportunities in those countries. And there we would meet with local professionals and facilitate introductions between the two cultures. While worldwide events have prevented us from meeting in person over the past 18 months, I've been impressed with the ability to adapt and pivot that many organizations have demonstrated in this trade mission is a perfect example of the kind of ingenuity and resourcefulness that as an industry, realtors have embraced. While the methods of accomplishing our objectives has changed, the purpose has not. As members of the Global Alliances committees, Ileana, Betsy, and I worked as a team to facilitate realtor-to-realtor business opportunities and to expand those global real estate business opportunities. We are here to assist our global affiliate associates to increase the number of international realtor members, or IRMs, in their associations. We're here to assist them with resources to organize and offer such courses as ABR, SRS, RENE, and CIPS. These designations and certifications help elevate IRMs as true professionals and experts in their real estate markets. We are here to facilitate trade missions such as this, whether in person or virtually, to increase our network opportunities. When we get to meet in person again, we are also there to assist IRMs as they travel to NAR conventions to navigate the venues and meet with other IRMs from around the world. And we can also assist you, as Betsy was talking about, in accessing our extensive realtor referral network. As a daughter of Brazilian immigrants, my heart belongs to Brazil. I love the country, the language, the music, the food, and the people. As the NAR Global Ambassador for Brazil, I'm personally looking forward to developing relationships with each of you, whether in person or virtually. I am here as your liaison to facilitate your exploration in the real estate market in the great country of Brazil. But I'll warn you, once you take that first step into this beautiful country, you'll fall in love and you'll never be the same. Thank you.
So true about that, so true.
Once you go, I mean, make sure you want. you have your ticket to back, because once you're there, you may want to stay there. So the caipirinha, the samba, the porro, music, but everything, that's exactly what we do, and the compromise that we have with these associations. And with COFESI, we work very closely to, as you saw, all the people presenting, and I can tell you their life stories as a testimony of how this network worked, and how their designation, what the courses that they're taking, how they're leveraging to actually connect globally. So today you saw their market, you met them, you are connecting with them. There are only a few of them that they actually, because through COFESI, we have a very good program with the training designation. They have, if you would like to participate live, if you would like to go and visit, they have a conference coming up in September, right, Luis? And also during that, prior to that, they're gonna have a CIPS class in case you wanna practice your Portuñol, your Portuguese, so right there. So this is what we do, and investment opportunities. How do you gonna start your go and find your global connection? You go find. I know we were very pleased when Brianna mentioned that in Texas there's a big community, Brazilian community. We were like surprised and glad to hear, and that's why we want to put you together with these great associations, so that way you can start your global referral network. But find about who is investing in your area, what companies are investing. For example, here in Florida, we have about 4,700 jobs that they are actually generated by 2,000 Brazilian-owned companies. So find out about, the Brazilian Chamber of Commerce, the consulate, events, you join your global council. So, and that's why, Luis, you want to talk about the Embrasi, and it's going to be in Foz do Iguaçu?
Yes, Embrasi will be in Foz do Iguaçu from the 12th to 18th of September. And we will have a CIPS Institute there.
Right. Hopefully this will be our first reunion back to normal, and conference, if everything goes well. So grab your passport, grab your realtor pin, and you're going to encounter another realtors or CIPS designees in Brazil. And basically that's what our program is. We want to hear from you. We want to hear anything, connections, and through your association, through Brianna's Global Council, what else do you want to, and we have throughout the region, we have South America, if you're interested in any other country, but if you would like to know more to Brazil, if you want to get a better closer relationship with Brazil, we will be more than happy to help you and assist you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Eliana, Betsy, Lori, and Luis, for giving us some of that information. And speaking of global connections and referrals, we're going to step into our breakout rooms right now. So I'm going to go ahead and open those rooms, and you'll be able to meet people from across the world. We have people from Brazil, all across the nation in the US. So they're organized by language preference. So I'm going to go ahead and open up those rooms right now.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, how you doing, Ed? Great presentation, Akram. Very good. I have to go back over there. And Olympia.
Hello.
Hi. Eliana, Simladani, and Thomas. How you doing?
Good.
Any questions? Have you done any referrals before? International referrals?
No.
Do you work in a particular? No. Well, now any of you are from Brazil or doing any? No.
I lived in Brazil for a year.
Oh, where?
In Belo Horizonte and Sorocaba.
Nice.
So that was fun.
Okay. So now you know you have an experience to live over there, right? Now you have here another contact in Florianopolis, Santa Catarina. So now you have to start actually contacting and send your properties and your contact information to them, because you never know that maybe they have a customer looking for a property in your area. Where are you located?
Houston.
Houston. Excellent. Yeah. And are you a CIPS?
No, I just got my realtor's license about 2 weeks ago.
Hey,
So I'm trying to grab as much knowledge as I can.
Fantastic. Yes. Well, when I got my realtor license in 2010, first thing I did was my CIPS, because I have a vision in global. And that's the great decision, and I love it. It opens your horizons and this connection. In Houston, they have it's a very diverse, right? So you can start with joining the Chamber of Commerce, start attending the clubs for any particular country that you would like to target. And now you have Brazil, you have a past experience, so hey, take advantage of that.
I would also encourage you, as I chaired the international committee at HAR last year, and where we won the Diamond Award from NAR, which there's only about 10 associations that I think have gotten to the Diamond status. So Houston, you're blessed with a great global committee, a great staff that is in charge of the global committee, which is Lori Carper and Mary Angie there at HAR. We are blessed with the most famous CIPS instructor in Texas as our president, and that would be Richard Miranda. Having him as our presidente, HAR is very global, not only in doing business outside of Texas and our relationships with the different associations, including AMPI, which we're very good friends with in Texas. It's a cool place to be, and getting your CIPS as quickly as possible. Houston/Metrotex, I think we're doing it together. It comes around in October. And so I would encourage you to do that. And I think right now with NAR, you can actually take one class, RSPS, and get that certification, and that counts one day towards your CIPS, because that's a 5-day class. And that's a good one to have anyway. I wouldn't say not take all 5 classes for CIPS, because they're all very helpful, but this RSPS is a good one to have. Yeah, an elective. Yeah, absolutely. So it's changed my real estate adventure for sure, having my CIPS. And I have, I think, 12 designations/certifications. And as an NAR CIPS mentor, CIPS is absolutely my favorite designation. And while I got it to sell pretty beaches around the world, what I didn't realize was the world's moving to Texas. So referrals come all the time to Houston, because everybody's moving to Houston. And I'm based in Dallas, but obviously I'm in Houston often. And man, I can't tell you how many referrals from having my CIPS. And they come, at times where you're wondering, hey, where's my next sale or my next buyer? Then all of a sudden it pops up, and it's like, wow, this is going to be a great month now, thanks, to having that CIPS designation. So
it is very important to mention that it's not going to happen overnight, right? You have to work, you have to connect, you have to do your, give your business cards, send your information. Now you have social media; it's even faster and better to do than before. But yes, you have to do your also your connecting and your job to actually to be, hey, I'm here. I'm here.
Getting on the private Facebook CIPS page is huge, and being active and talking and chatting and asking questions on the private page. And then once you get your CIPS, and even if you don't have it, man, go to conferences, to the Texas Realtor Conference. The world comes to that, including AMPI, which is one of our biggest partners. I mean, they come and they're present there. And then when you go to the NAR conferences, wow, there are real estate brokers from around the world, you know, wearing their CIPS pin and their realtor pin, because what I have found, and I was sharing this morning, Olympia heard it in our little deal this morning, man, realtors from around the world, they're so proud to be a realtor. It's, I mean, somebody mentioned it's a badge of honor, you know, that you wear on your chest. And unlike, you know, I think some of us take it for granted here in the US, when you're around realtors from around the world, man, they are so proud to be a realtor. It's crazy, you know, how they promote it and what they, I mean, it's crazy. They really, it's like they're the most, you know, they have the best job in the world, which I think being a broker is the best job, but they really push it around the world. So
we have
go
agreement.
NAR
has an agreement with 72 countries around the world and more than 100 associations. So basically, being a realtor is connecting you globally if you know how to. And we have seminars about the power of the brand. And if you want to know a power of the brand in a true story, I can tell Akram, tell your story. Tell your story about how do you get here, so the way you are. So tell your story briefly, because I don't know how much time we have.
Right. I was just hearing you guys saying, I was thinking of my story. You know, for sure, taking the CIPS class made my career take off really quick. Of course, I was participating in all the events and I was relating to a lot of people, but right after I took the CIPS, when I came back to Brazil 2006, just before the foreclosure and all the craziness that went with the market in the US in 2008, my instructor, he said, go back to Brazil, find yourself a nice spot, buy a franchise, and you should, you know, experience some growing, because the market in Brazil is about to take off. And I heard him. I was in my 20s and he was I don't know, 60 years old or something. And I'm glad I hear him, you know, and taking that CIPS really opened my career to the world. I started to receive a lot of referrals from Europe, from the US, and you know, Portuguese. I mean, and I you know, it was really the whole the whole next level for sure.
So, yeah. So it's the way how we connect people and how a realtor to realtor. And also you have to make sure that, that's what we talked about with our international realtors. We said you have also a contact everywhere in 72 countries. Make sure you go to that directory that Betsy showed and find whatever country you have interest, France, anywhere in Europe, in Asia, and find a realtor, an international realtor, or a CI or a designee, and refer that. Pick up the phone and tell them, hey, Olympia, I'm here in Florida. I'm referring you, Akram, that he wants to buy a property in Houston. Can you help him? All right, yes, no. And then you fill out your form. You put the agreement that we have to do from whatever you commission, what we're going to do. The referral is up to us, right? But that way you have something that in that country that maybe you or your customer is going to go by himself or by herself, and you will miss all that, right? But with this referral, you can refer your customers to the world. You can say, I sell the world. I have the world in my hands. Tell me where you want. Tell me where you want, how much. Yeah, and I'll find you that perfect property, because I have a network of my friends, colleagues everywhere. So that's the power of the brand. That's why.
You know what I heard this week? That as a realtor, we own 6% of the world.
That's good, yeah. That's good. So that is the power of the brand. That is the power, the importance. And then we also help build professionalism in these countries, right? So they feel proud. NAR only has agreements with associations. They have a code of ethics, and that's why they signed the bilateral agreement, so you can feel comfortable referring your customers. So it's something, and by the time the places that they don't have the regulated the profession, like Brazil has, they have the profession is regulated, but other countries don't. So that these alliances help them build, differentiate themselves, give them recognitions. Like Eddie say, they feel very proud when they wear their realtor pin.
True. By the way,
Any questions, Olympia?
We're just making that referral to Orlando, to the girls you
did.
you referred.
Wow.
Yes.
Really? Yeah. See how it works? We did a presentation last week, right? And then he said me, do you have any contact in Orlando? And I said, I sent a list of contacts, colleagues, of realtors in the area. And now he's saying that, yes. Okay, good. Very good. You don't do this, impressive. Olympia, you had a question?
No, I was just going to say I am new to the real estate business as well. And I just got my license in May. And so I signed up for this course just to get more information because I was interested in getting my CIPS certification. And I'm more interested now going through the presentations and networking with you guys. And I'm excited and I just want to learn everything and just I'm here for the journey. And
welcome to you're a newbie, but what a better opportunity. And I mean, because now you can be easily connected to the world, to, you know, after COVID, everything is just like virtual. So will be, and also I want to tell you, through NAR in Espanol, we have a series of webinars in different countries. Now we're doing South America, but we're going to do Europe. We're going to do the Middle East and Asia. So make sure you log in and check and participate. And you see, while you're there attending, you see all the other ones, international realtors or future international realtors looking to connect. So that's a great venue as well. Okay, so good. So Ed, you say you're in Dallas?
Yes, I'm in Dallas, but I have agents in Dallas, Houston, and Austin. So we help across the state of Texas.
Right.
And this year yesterday I sold my 10th house in Mexico this year. And I've been to Mexico 10 times this year, back to the Riviera Maya, which is where I used to live, 8 times. And then I have some opportunities that we are doing in Baja, Mexico as well. So
by the way, I'm going to Mexico. I have a great from the Yucatan Peninsula in Merida. Great.
Oh wow, I love Merida. Yeah,
so
Merida's a great city.
I'm gonna see how things happen. I'm gonna send you really good properties over there. So if you're
I have hundreds of opportunities in Merida because my biggest client is the largest developer in Southeast Mexico. And we have a ton of lots in Merida for sale. We just released a new marina development in Merida. So yeah, what a great city. I mean, it's really an awesome city.
In Brazil, the prices on the beachfront are a very good opportunity.
Yeah, I would agree. They're definitely probably a little cheaper compared to let's say Tulum or Playa, where prices, it's so popular, they're going up. But in fact, I'm hosting a trade mission trip that all realtors are welcome to. We're going to actually host the Las Vegas Association of Realtors in Playa del Carmen on August 9th through the 14th. And we're going to meet with the association, AMP one night, which we've done these before and always had a lot of fun with it. And then we're going to tour properties in Playa one day, in Tulum and Akumal another day, and then ended up with touring properties in Cancun, and then sending everybody back home. So it should be a fun deal. And that's another thing for y'all that haven't been on trade missions, Olympia and Elena, is, man, there's, when you become a CIPS and you get on the private Facebook page, you see all these opportunities for trade missions, where there's big groups of realtors going to different places around the world and meeting with the associations, touring, properties, learning the processes in these countries. Man, it's an awesome way, a safe way, and a way to build up your network, to go back and tell everybody, hey, I'm in Texas. If you have referrals, please send them to me. And it works. I'm telling you, like, it was mentioned, it doesn't happen overnight, but if get involved and you go do all this stuff, fun opportunities come to you, you know, if you put in the time.
Great. Solange, you have a question?
Well, first, it was very nice to meet all of you. I am in San Antonio. So great to know Ed is in Houston, Dallas, all over Austin. Thank you so much, Elena, for this as well. My question is just, I've been a realtor for, let's see, about 7 months, but I've been in the real estate business for a while. I love it. And as far as the certification that you're talking about, it's open to brand new realtors as well, or I need to have experience? Would you recommend 2 years before you get that?
No, like I mentioned, when I got my real estate license, I was licensed in March. And the first course that I did certification on CIPS in July. And I got it right away because I really wanted to relate it to international real estate. And I knew that that's something interesting to me. And that's the first one. You don't have to wait. Go ahead. And as a matter of fact, it would be better that would be your first, because it will open your horizons and opportunity and connections. And then from there, you can leverage and take the other ones. But yeah, it was going to be you and during this, it's a 5-day course. It's you look at the transaction tools, then you go business in the Americas, in Europe, in the Middle East, in Asia. And then you have transaction tools. So it's what is local, what you need to actually start your global business. And the one that Ed mentioned is an elective. You can take resort and second home, which is more for vacation homes and everything. Yes, but yes, I would highly recommend it. You can go ahead, sign on the first one that you have and do it. Very good.
That's perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I speak Portuguese. I was born in Brazil, so this has been wonderful.
Oh, really? So then you can even take it if you want to go and take it in September in Foz do Iguaçu. You go to the conference, and they're going to do it prior the conference, like a week before, and then because it's a 5-day course.
Okay.
And you can write it off. You can write it off as a business expense. I got my CIPS years ago in Cabo. And it's a write-off. So
the best business write-off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
All right. Fantastic.
Actually, 2 of our agents just took the CIPS, the last class. I think it was like a month ago or so, right?
April.
Right. And for the next one, there's a bunch. They all want to take.
Yes. Yeah. And you see now, the more that we're doing these webinars, the more we have a lot of inquiries and asking about how can we join, how can we become an international realtor, or when is your next ABR or CIPS course? Because if you see that while we're talking, we're connecting, and maybe I have somebody that I can refer in the different areas. You never know. So that's the power of keeping your contacts, your database, and identifying with a realtor or somebody that you would like to work with and feel comfortable actually referring. I have somebody looking for Oklahoma. I haven't unfortunately been in Oklahoma, but I just went to the CIPS network, and I say, okay, it doesn't have to be the same brokerage firm, right? That's the beauty of this. So you can, you feel more comfortable. It could be the same brokerage, but if you don't, you can go and say, hey, by the way, I'm a CIPS, because we know how you want to do business, how we like to treat our customers. So that's why we usually refer to the CIPS. If it's not a CIPS, then you find somebody, an ABR or at least an IRM.
And you know what? The huge opportunities. We were talking the other day. Well, since I'm like I told you, the Remax, the regional owner, we're trying to bring this way of doing real estate, right? The listing agent, right? To work with the seller. In Brazil, everybody always used to work with the buyer, not the seller. They would not work with exclusive listings. They were all open listings. Right. It was insane, to be honest. Now, I started in Florida. When I got back here, it was like the wild, wild west. It was crazy. And fortunately, we're starting to move, but very slowly. Only Remax is doing it so far. And I was talking to the president this morning, to the president of Remax Brazil. We have over 7,000 agents, almost 500 franchises. And I talked about you. I mentioned your name. And he said, well, talk to her. Maybe we can do something together. That's why I sent you the message.
Yeah.
Because not only the CIPS, but the ABR, the CRS, all the other designations, you know, that these people are willing to take further education.
Yeah, see, very important, because let's see that's how I relate this thing. When you're a realtor, okay, that will be I related to the medical. You know, everybody when after you get you know, graduated, so you are a general doctor, right? So let's see, when you get your license, you become, and you put your license to an association, a brokerage firm that belongs to an association of NAR, you become a realtor. But if you want to be an expertise, you want to be somebody have a specialty on something, you know, so then you take your ABR, is accredited by a representative, or the SRS, the seller representative specialist, or you want to do global, you want international, then you do your CIPS. So that then you are taking, you know, your knowledge is a higher standard, so you can be differential, recognized, and relate more to your customer. In Latin American countries, usually they don't have that representation, so that's why we're bringing in to them, to bringing this certification for them to. There's a niche of the market that is not being served, right? Or more of them, they don't have exclusivity or representation. And sometimes you go to a house and you have like 2 or 3 different signs for brokerage firms. So it's something that we're working. Yes, definitely, Akron will be a pleasure working and putting a program there, because that's what we're doing. That is the intention, the program for NAR, just to bring to these countries everything that they need, certification, same as we have here in the US. So we are actually pyramidal structure. We actually follow NAI bylaws, guidelines, and our code of ethics, right? So that what makes us different from a licensee to a realtor, from a realtor to a licensee, right? So that's why we actually partner and do this with countries all over the world.
Sounds great, fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah. Designations are like different families. When you get these designations, you start participating in their Facebook pages and LinkedIn pages that are closed to everybody else. And every designation is a good one. You just can't, whether it's CIPS or ABR, or I get a lot of referrals from CRS. All these designations are just a great way to learn from the very best that are doing all kinds of cool real estate things. And then just, it gives you an opportunity to earn referrals. And so add them as fast as you can. And a lot of them, you know, take some requirements, but you can go ahead and take the classes and get that under, you know, done. And then as you meet the requirements, then you will earn that designation, because some of them do have sales requirements, and CIPS is on a point system. So, you know, you get 10 points if you speak a different language. You get 10 points if you have sold to an international buyer or seller. So it's a point system that you have to earn. But go ahead and take the classes now and put some of those things into your real estate business right now, because it will help you grow and help you make some fun dollars, I guess. So.
And that was going to be one of my questions. And you mentioned, Ed, the requirements for the CIPS. What were some of the requirements for getting that certification?
Yeah. So, you know, like I said, languages, you get some points. International sales, you get some points. And often people ask me, hey, I've never sold anything outside the US. How am I going to get that international sale to get my designation? And it doesn't have to be outside the US. It just has to be a sale to somebody. I often tell people, if you sold a house here in Texas to somebody that spoke another language before English, that's an international sale. You know, somebody coming from a different country, speaks a different language, and buying in Houston, Texas, or Dallas, Texas, that counts. And there's some other requirements. Obviously, you get a lot of points for doing the classes. So it's not really that hard. And then the other designations, you know, you have to sell so many sell sides or buy sides, and you know, you have to have so many hours, you know, in classroom. So but designation, 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 they will earn you dollars.
Hey, Eliana, let me introduce you to Henry Trentini. He's my brother-in-law. He lives in Austin for 8 years, I guess. He works for Apple at the headquarters. And I'm asking him to take his licenses, so we can do a lot of business together in Austin. I know Ed as well in Dallas. So for sure, we're going to go visit and hopefully to meet you guys soon.
Well, I'm an Aggie, so I get nervous when I go to Austin. But I will tell you today at 2:30, I did an interview for the board of directors at ABOR, where I currently serve as the global ambassador for Central America at that global committee. So Austin's a great international city. Man, so much is going to Austin. The traffic is terrible, but I don't like the school there, but I played many football games against that other school. Looks like somebody, I don't like the color orange. Yet I have a son that lives there, and we're maroon in this, Aggie maroon in this house, at my house.
Yeah, I agree. Austin is like it's like a small city and growing a lot in the past few years. And we have like heavy traffic now, a lot of people moving into Austin. And but it's good, like more people means like more investor and more buyers, more sellers, and the city is like the real estate market in Austin is like very in the rush now. A lot of people buying, a lot of people selling.
And they have a small shortage of inventory in Austin. It's just really small, But
yeah. Now we have a lot of buyers in Austin, but a lot of people, Brazilian, they start buy houses around in the like Round the Rock or Leander, like the more close.
Pflugerville,
yeah,
New Braunfels, yeah.
That's true.
So you have to take your license, man.
Yeah,
Eliana, and take
Yes,
your CIPS.
we have to take you. See, we have you have the testimonial for Olympia and for Eliani that are new, and from Solange, so they can tell you their experience. They're actually less than a year, and they can tell you, is it a success story? It was a right decision. You guys came from a different industry. I was in a different industry, right? And some things that actually brought me to real estate. But if you have the passion, and it's very satisfactory when you help somebody to get their first home, or even their first investment opportunity, right? Investment property, anything at any level, it gives you a lot of satisfaction when you actually accomplish. We actually very, very involved with this transaction, and we put our heart and soul into making that happen, right? Right, guys?
Yeah. It's a lot of fun to watch, when somebody's moving into their first home.
I wish I have the ready so I can share that. Have you seen that video about all that realtors do during the transaction? That they have to, they don't only find a house. We, involved with the financing, the inspections, the, appraisal, well, we don't do the appraisal, but we have to make sure that when we do the CMA, then we have to do the attorneys, the accountant, yes, everybody, interior designer, everything, school, you need to know about the school. So it's just like we are related in such a different aspect. So you have to become a realtor.
Yeah.
You're so young. The millennials are looking for.
Today you guys answer me a lot of questions that I have because I'm very new in like real estate market. But I understand very better now. The presentation is like very good quality. I really like it, very nice. I'm from I work with computer science, and I'm looking for change a little bit and use my skills in computer science in realtor estate, like for working, like not exactly but I will try apply some computer science knowledge in real estate, like maybe try.
Hey, there's a great opportunity for you. Create apps for realtors, right? We need technology. I'm not a tech.
The IT guy,
right?
yes.
So
Sure.
Yes.
Very clever.
We need to talk then. We need to talk so you can build something that we can all be in one platform together, exchanging, you know, in different languages, in doing referrals for all of us. So yes, make sure that you have my, I'm gonna put my email address, or Akron have my email address.
I'll send
So
it.
I'm gonna post it there. So any questions you have, I'm in here in Florida. There's a huge conference right now from NAR, the Circle. So anyway, they're all here. I'm in Florida. I have to go visit. I have to go to the Texas, and I haven't been there for such a long time. But once everything, I'm ready to travel.
All right, the meeting you finish in a few seconds. And it's nice to meet you, everybody, and maybe we can keep in touch and change some information, email. Very nice meeting today.
Nice, guys.
Nice meeting you,
Really
everybody.
awesome meeting all of you.
Nice to meet everyone.
See you, everybody.
So
See
much
you.
for the information.
Take it easy.
Everybody, thank you.
Brianna, I appreciate the inclusion and the experience to be able to chat and learn from so many people who've had a lot of experience.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. I believe it looks like everyone is back in the main session. So we'll have our Texas Realtors 2021 Global Chair close the event.
Okay, so we hope that everybody had a great time meeting and connecting in the breakout rooms. It was fun. It was nice seeing everybody there. And please stay on the lookout for the email that is coming next week that will include a link to a digital business card exchange. This is a password protected web page that will house the names and emails of everyone who opted in to participate in the business card exchange when you registered for the event. And as the 2021 Texas Realtor Global Committee Chair, I would like to thank you all for joining to Travel with Texas Virtual Trade Mission to Brazil. And to the presenters from Brazil who joined, thank you so much. João Teodoro da Silva, Luis Barcelos, Akram Rajab, and Rafaela Sampieri Boff. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your time with us today. Texas Realtors is honored to have hosted our first event with Brazil with such an outstanding group of people. Muito obrigada e muito sucesso. And with that, it has been a pleasure. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.